In mere hours, disaster struck. Alicante, Spain's radiant Mediterranean gem, famed for its sun-drenched beaches and vibrant festivals, was engulfed by a merciless storm. What started as a gentle drizzle morphed into unrelenting chaos. By midday, torrential rain battered the city, overwhelming drains and transforming streets into raging rivers. Sidewalks vanished beneath the deluge. Cars drifted like wreckage down boulevards. The city's lively pulse was silenced, drowned by the thunderous roar of water smashing against stone. Residents stood frozen, watching in horror as torrents invaded neighborhoods untouched by floods for generations. Storefronts buckled under the pressure. Apartment lobbies became watery graves. Everywhere, Alicante was submerged. Social media erupted with chilling footage, cars spiraling through intersections, muddy rivers tearing down the iconic Esplanada Promenade, desperate cries for help echoing from rooftops. In one brutal afternoon, Alicante's festive spirit turned to a fight for survival. October 9th, Valencian Community Day, meant for parades and joy, became a day etched in infamy. By dusk, Alicante wasn't a coastal haven. It was a city swallowed by the sea. Warnings of rain had come, but no one foresaw this apocalypse. A monstrous storm system, Dana Alice, swept in from the Mediterranean, hauling a colossal wall of moisture and chaotic air. At dawn, light drops speckled the hills around Alicante. By mid-morning, the sky blackened. In just 12 hours, over 7 inches of rain, equivalent to a month's worth, pummeled the city. Roads became torrents. Drains choked, regurgitating water into the streets. Dry riverbeds, long silent, roared to life, ripping through the city's edges with ferocious power. The rain's deafening assault pounded rooftops like artillery, echoed through apartment blocks, and flooded underground garages in minutes. In low-lying areas, residents watched helplessly as water crept over sidewalks, then doorsteps, then surged into their homes. By afternoon, Dana Alice's wrath was undeniable. Winds howled at over 60 mph, bending coastal palms to their breaking point. Lightning tore the sky apart, thunder rattling windows from their frames. Emergency alerts blared across phones. Extreme rainfall. Stay indoors. Avoid travel. But for thousands trapped by rising waters, escape was impossible. Cameras captured the nightmare in real time. Cars spinning wildly, trash bins floating like flotsam, waves of mud crashing through the Esplanada Promenade. Dana Alice wasn't just passing through, it had claimed Alicante, and its fury was far from over. By early afternoon, the storm had devoured the city. Rain didn't just fall. It lashed sideways, driven by winds that screamed through streets like a vengeful force. In downtown Alicante, collapse began. At the San Gabriel Industrial District, an aluminum factory was inundated in minutes. Workers fled to higher ground as torrents smashed through metal doors, sweeping crates, barrels, and machinery into the streets. A witness called it a river of steel and sludge. The flood consumed all in its path. Side streets turned to canals. Parked cars bobbed, spun, and smashed into storefronts. Trash bins, benches, even chunks of pavement were swept away. On the Esplanada de España, Alicante's beloved seaside promenade, waist-high water surged across the mosaic tiles where tourists once strolled beneath swaying palms. Now, those trees buckled, their roots choking in the rising tide. Emergency crews battled to respond, but roads had vanished. Patrol cars stalled in flooded intersections. Ambulances were rerouted as water climbed higher. Every minute brought new cries for help. Trapped residents, stranded drivers, electrical fires sparking in submerged buildings. Inside homes and shops, people barricaded doors with furniture, desperate to stem the flood. In some areas, the current shattered windows cascading down stairwells and filling basements, forcing families to scramble to rooftops. The rain was merciless, endless, heavy, unstoppable. Alicante, as its people knew it, was gone. Every landmark, every familiar street, now lay beneath the flood's wrath. By mid-afternoon, Alicante was no city. It was a lake. Highways, markets, playgrounds, entire neighborhoods vanished under a swirling brown current. Spain's meteorological agency issued a red alert, signaling catastrophic danger to life. For the first time in years, the entire Valencian region was thrust into emergency status. Radios blared a relentless warning. Stay indoors. Do not travel. Avoid rivers and ravines. Seek higher ground. Across Alicante, the response was frantic but faltering. Police cars inched through knee-deep water, their lights pulsing red against the storm. Firefighters waded into submerged intersections, pulling families through second-floor windows. In some districts, boats replaced ambulances. In nearby towns, Dania, Zabia, Calpe, Tulada, rivers burst their banks, severing coastal roads. Footage from Marina Alta showed cars drifting past gas stations, bridges quaking under the current's force. Civil protection teams raced to establish shelters in schools and sports halls, bracing for the thousands already homeless. At City Hall, officials toiled through the night, tracking rainfall data that climbed relentlessly. Over 7 inches had fallen, with more forecasts to come. The rain refused to relent. As night fell, the storm's fury intensified. The relentless drumming of rain echoed off every surface. Walls, roofs, flooded streets, like a pulse that wouldn't stop. Lightning blazed across the coast, illuminating the devastation in stark, fleeting glimpses. Power grids collapsed, plunging districts into darkness. Streetlights flickered and died, leaving only the faint glow of flashlights and cell phones. Sirens wailed faintly through the deluge, a haunting signal from a city under siege. Families huddled in darkened homes, listening as water lapped at their doors. Some climbed to attics or rooftops, watching cars float by, their headlights glowing eerily beneath the flood. Others gathered on upper floors of apartments, staring down at a city where roads had become rivers. Winds exceeding 60 mph tore through streets, ripping down signs and scattering debris across rooftops. Thunderclaps shook the city, and transformers exploded, sending sparks into the sodden air. One question haunted every mind. If this much destruction could strike in a single day, what would dawn reveal? When morning broke, the rain had ceased, but a heavy silence gripped Alicante. The vibrant city, once alive with sunlight and sea breezes, lay beneath a gray, lifeless sky. The air reeked of mud, salt, and oil. Only the drip of water from shattered roofs and the hum of distant generators broke the quiet. Floodwaters blanketed streets. Cars lay piled against walls, half buried in debris. Storefronts stood in ruins, their glass coated with silt lines marking the flood's peak. Children's toys floated beside overturned chairs and tangled wires. Along the coast, cleanup began. Firefighters cleared fallen branches. Volunteers distributed water and food from trucks. The Spanish Red Cross established shelters in schools, where families rested on cots, charging phones from shared power strips. Amid the exhaustion, solidarity emerged. Strangers shared clothes. Parents soothed trembling children. From above, Alicante resembled a battle-scarred landscape. Pools of stagnant water, fractured highways, fields streaked with mud. Yet signs of resilience flickered. Barras. What does resilience mean to you, as an individual, a community, a world? Share your thoughts, your stories, your voice in the comments below. They fuel this vital conversation. Together, we can ensure these moments aren't forgotten. Together, we can be the generation that listens before the next storm strikes.